The Sudbury Bingo Charities are a group of over 150 organizations and not-for-profits in our community that rely on bingo gaming revenue to run their programs and services in our community. The Sudbury Bingo Charities raise funds for local programs and services. They've been doing this for well over 30 years through bingo and charitable gaming, and are having a huge impact in our community with those funds that are raised. Groups include education, health, youth sports, food banks, children's groups, service clubs, really any kind of group that is organized in our community that's a not-for-profit or a charity is eligible, and we have a huge diverse range of groups with the 150 groups that are involved. Being involved in this for over 30 years, I understand the impact, and I've seen the impact that these groups have in the community. I've seen the industry go through some challenges. Currently, the industry is a very fragile industry with volunteerism down, with organizations struggling to meet financial goals and meet the needs of the programs and services in the community, with ongoing cuts through funding. This form of fundraising is crucial to these groups in our community. They rely on it significantly.
Bingo gaming revenue is generated by local groups and organizations who volunteer at Boardwalk Gaming's 2 local charity fundraising facilities, one in Sudbury and one in Valcarron. Each volunteer generates approximately $165 per volunteer hour. That's significant.
Boardwalk Gaming Sudbury and Valcarron has been supporting over 150 organizations for the past 30 years. Together, we generate over $2.3 million for local charities.
My name is John Remore. I'm the Executive Director of the John Howard Society of Sudbury. And essentially, what we do at the John Howard Society is we stop crime now. And we stop crime through a multitude and a plethora of programs and services to our community members, and we do that by changing people's lives, helping people make positive changes in their lives when they have been in conflict with the law. We do this especially through the great work and of our volunteers by working with bingo gaming revenue. We have been involved with the bingo and raising money through bingo gaming revenue for over 50 years at the John Howard Society. And some of the services that we provide are the very basic services to people when they want to stop crime. Things like food vouchers, things like clothing, things like getting people into programs that change their behavior, assisting children, especially children and family members when there's domestic violence and violence in that family, and we change people's lives through programs, and all of this happens because of our bingo gaming revenue. Without that gaming revenue, these programs will not exist. And our community cannot be as safe and healthy and as a wonderful place to live in as we expect every day of the week. Bingo gaming revenue generates through our volunteers at least $165 per hour of volunteer work, and that translates into one of the highest and best ways of raising money for the programs at the John Howard Society and many other charitable organizations in our community. What is especially important with bingo gaming revenue is that this bingo gaming revenue stays in Sudbury. It stays with our organizations. It stays with the people of our community. Whereas many other revenue generating events go to a provincial fund. And many times we don't see that money. But with bingo gaming revenue, people of Sudbury support other people of Sudbury, which makes our community a much better place to live.
My name is Dan Exman. I'm the Executive Director of the Bank Mount Sudbury Food Bank. Our charity generates over $161,000 in bingo revenue to help our member agencies and the people that are hungry in the city of Sudbury. With the $161,000 that we generate in revenue, we are able to leverage that to over $1 million in fresh food, dairy, and product for people who are hungry in our community. If there was any impact in any way, shape, or form to bingo revenue in our community, it would be detrimental to our organization to a very high degree. And I want to state that if bingo revenue was impacted in any way in our community, a lot of our family and community members would go hungry.
My name is Lise Sénécal. I work for l'Association des Jeunes de la Rue. And for the last 14 years, we have been receiving revenue from bingo. And at this point of time, my God, if ever we lose that money, what it means is a full-time position that provides services to over 200 youth in the city of Greater Sudbury. That would be very damaging for the youth and as the agency as a whole, because at this point of time, it's money that we cannot go without it.
The Astaire Volunteer Fire Service. We provide auto extraction services, fire protection, and medical assists in the unorganized townships south of Greater Sudbury. Bingo gaming revenue. It helps us purchase the critical equipment we need for highway rescues and fire protection services. Without the bingo gaming revenue we generate each year, our fire services, well, we'd have to close its door and not offer emergency, fire, and accident services.
My name is Lynn Houle. I'm Community Coordinator for the Special Olympics of Sudbury. We cater to people with an intellectual disability, and in Sudbury we have over 300 athletes that participate in our 15 sports throughout the year. For the last 30 years, Special Olympics Sudbury has generated a significant amount of money that has helped us with sports outings, tournaments, traveling, accommodations, meals for our athletes. This gives our athletes the chance to get out, explore, otherwise they wouldn't be able, they'd be stuck in Sudbury, they wouldn't be able to have the life that they so dream of. If these funds were to be cut or impacted in any kind of way, we would lose the possibility of offering these 15 sports to our athletes. It would make a major big difference in their lives, because every penny that we have received has been used for either traveling, equipment, a chance to go out of town, even if it's just to North Bay, or go to provincials, to nationals, worlds. It impacts their lives tremendously. It helps them achieve their goals, and as small or as big as they are, it makes a difference. So through bingo gaming revenue, Sudbury Special Olympics has generated a lot of money towards our sports programs that we offer throughout the year. Without this money that we have raised, we wouldn't be able to offer half of what we get to do with our athletes.
Monies raised through our bingo revenue directly support people with disabilities living in Greater Sudbury with skills development training, such as access to computers. We help people with disabilities actually live a better quality of life. So we teach them skills development and employment, correct? It helps with our day-to-day operation, and it also helps buy supplies for arts and crafts, music, computer parts, and pay a few bills around here. People that come to our organization have access to computers, internet, printers, meals, skills development. So without the bingo revenue, the Independent Living Center would not exist.
My name is Emmett Jambel, and I'd like to say that I represent all the Knights of Columbus in the District of Sudbury, and without the bingo gaming bingos, there's no way that the Knights of Columbus, or I think any charity, can survive and donate so much that we are donating in the district, like hospice, like hospitals, like the churches, and bursaries for the kids in school, and send kids to camp, and it's unbelievable what the bingo gaming generate money for us so that we can donate. And without them, we would not be able to do any of this stuff. How would they survive? Everybody depends on the bingo gaming revenue to do things. And without them, we might as well fold and do nothing, because you'd be surprised. We need the bingo gaming revenue to help us, to help the community, and it helps everybody. Without them, forget it. I mean, we will not survive, and it's simple as that.
Some local sports groups even emphasize the fact that Some of them were kind of dying out, fading out, so with these fundings, they were now able to try to get the love of the sport back by offering these free programs to the younger generation and hoping to create a love for the sport. There's other organizations that have been able to bring in professional players to teach the youth the importance of team building, the skills and all that kind of stuff. So really the charity fundraising is allowing these groups to be able to reach out to our youth and teach them the basic essentials that is required. So basically, bingo gaming revenue is empowering our youth to become more active.
The $2.5 million that's raised every year by these organizations is crucial to their programs and services. Should this funding be cut, should the funding be reduced, the impact will be in education, the impact will be in food banks, the impact will be in youth sports. All of these programs and services that these organizations and also our community citizens rely on would be cut or would be reduced. In fact, this funding is so important to these groups and is such a huge part of their budget and their fundraising that some of these groups may actually have to close their doors and we would lose these programs and services in our community, and that would be a real tragedy.